Assalamu alaikum everyone. In today's class, I am going to explain what are the common mistakes that people do while reading Surah An-Nas, and I will try to explain all those mistakes in big detail. So let's start this surah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم سورة الناس بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Okay, let me read the first ayat. قل أعوذ برب الناس. Okay, so the first ayat, it starts with the letter Qaf. As we know, Qaf is a heavy letter and we have to make sure that we are reading it with heavy voice. قل قل أعوذ قل أعوذ. Okay, do not mix the sound of letter Qaf with letter Kaf. Okay, next word أعوذ أعوذ. In this word we have the starting two letters Hamza and Ain, both are the similar letters, and majority people mixes the sound of both letters with each other, either mixes the sound of letter Hamza with letter Ain or letter Ain sound with letter Hamza sound. So we have to make sure that we are reading both the letters correctly. أعوذ أعوذ أعوذ. Okay, next is letter Zal. In this, as we know, Zal is a light letter and we have to read it with a lighter voice. If the sound is mixed with the sound of letter Za, the word will become wrong. So we have to make sure that we are reading the Zal with a lighter voice. أعوذ أعوذ. Okay. Next, بِرَبٍّ بِرَبٍّ. In this word, we have this letter Ra with a fatha sign. It means Ra will be read with a heavy voice. بِرَبٍّ بِرَبٍّ. Okay. بِرَبٍّ نَاس. And the ending word, Nas. Now, let's look at the next ayat. Malikin Nas. Malikin Nas. So in this ayat, we have to make sure that we are reading letter Kaf with the right voice, as Kaf has a similar sound as letter Qaf. So we have to make sure that we are reading Kaf and not reading it with the heavy voice. Okay, and the next thing we have to focus on is letter Sin. As we know, Sin is a sharp letter and we must produce the sound with the sharp voice. Malikin Nas. Malikin Nas. Next ayat. Ilahin Nas. Ilahin Nas. In this ayat, there is nothing complex in it, but we just have to make sure that we are reading and producing the correct sound for letter Sin. Okay, as we have already discussed, it is a sharp letter and we have to produce a sharp sound. Next ayat. Min sharril waswasil khannas. Min sharril. Okay, let's look at the first word. Min sharril. As in the first word, we have this letter Ra with the kasra sign. It means Ra won't be read here with a heavy voice. But Ra has a shadda sign. It means we have to read the raw with a double sound and with a slight force. Min sharril. Next word. Wasil. Wasil. In this word, we have the letter seen here and here. It means we have to read both of them with a sharp voice. Min sharril waswasil. Okay. Next word. Khonnas. Khonnas. First, in this word, we have to pay attention on this letter kho. As kho is a heavy voice, heavy letter, we have to read this letter with a heavy voice. Min sharril waswasil khonnas. Okay, so let's move on to the next ayat. الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس. Let's break down this ayat. الذي. So majority people don't know how to spell or read the first word of this ayat. As we can see that in the start of the ayat we have a lam with a shadda sign. It means this letter will be joined with the previous letter. But if we look at the previous letter, we won't see any letter with a harakat on it. So in this case, what we will do, we will consider a zabar sign on top of the alif. Let me show you. We will consider a zabar sign on top of alif, and then we will join this alif with the letter lam. Why we only place the fatha sign on top of alif, as the next letter lam, which has a shadda sign, has a fatha sign on top of it. That's why we are considering an alif with a fatha sign. Okay, so how to read? Alladhi. Okay, and the next thing we have to focus on is letter Zal. As Zal is a light letter, and we have to make sure that we are reading it with the right voice. Alladhi. Next word. Yuwaswisu. In this word we have two letters that on which we have to focus on is the seen. This one and this one. Yuwaswisu. Okay. Fi sudurin nas. Fi sudurin nas. In this word we have to focus on its letter sod, as majority people mixes the sound of letter sod with letter sin. That makes the word wrong. So we have to make sure that we are reading the sod with a heavy voice and with a sharp voice as well. So how to read with a heavy voice is fi sudu, not sudu. Okay, we don't have to only read this letter with the sharp voice. We have to also read this letter with a heavy voice. Okay, sudurin nas. At the end we have a letter sin that we have to read with a sharp voice only. Nas. Okay. Okay, next last ayat. Minal jinnati wan nas. Minal jinnati. Okay, the first word is minal jinnati. Next word, wan nas. وَالنَّاسِ. And particularly this ayat, the last ayat is not the complex ayat, so I'm not explaining anything because this ayat doesn't have any special letter. All the letters we have already discussed in the previous ayats. So that's it. I hope I have delivered all the mistakes and I have clearly explained all the mistakes within the Surah Nas, and this will help you to improve your recitations. If you have anything to ask, you can ask me in the comments, and let's meet in the next class. Till then, Allah Hafiz.